These battles are tied together in many different ways. And, you know, by the military strategy, political necessities, but the thing that really ties them together, the glue that holds it together, is the human stories that go from one place to the next. What we're going to do is we're going to start the program by having this cannon over here to my left fire for you folks. Then I'm going to share with you the story of a Confederate artillery unit here on the battlefield, the Eufaula Light Artillery from Alabama. At the command ready, number 3 pokes a hole in the powder bag. Number 4 inserts the friction primer attached to the lanyard and stretches it taut. This is when you might want to cover your ears. Fire! And that's how it's done. I've got the report here from Lieutenant W.A. McDuffie, who commanded the 4 guns of the Eufaula Light Artillery. And I'd just like to share this report with you because it is incredibly short for most reports of a battle the size of the Battle of Stones River. He writes, I have the honor to make the following report of my battery of the late engagement before Murfreesboro. On December 30th, 1862, at 4 p.m., I engaged the enemy with 4 pieces being ordered by General Rains to support Captain Robertson's battery. After an action of about an hour, I was ordered by General Rains to withdraw. I then received an order to go into position in the field occupied by the 2nd Brigade, but such ammunition as I could have used, been expended, was unavailable. I was unable to comply. I was then ordered to retire beyond the range of the enemy's guns, there to await ammunition. It was supplied to me during the night. On the following morning, I was ordered to the front and took position near the Nolensville Road and was not engaged. When do we say the Battle of Stones River began? December 31st, 1862, right? Now, what he writes on the 31st is, I was not engaged. He concludes his report and actually says that he expended 213 rounds of ammunition. Now, if he says he was not engaged on the 31st, the 1st, or the 2nd, and he was engaged for 1 hour on December 30th, 1862, what does that tell you about McDuffie's experience on that December 30th day? 213 rounds of ammunition in 1 hour, even with 4 guns spreading that out, that's a fair amount of ammunition, ain't it? It's about 50 rounds a gun. And McDuffie's little report here, although you may not see it right away, if you've studied this larger battle as I have and some of the other Rangers, you begin to see that he's telling us in a way, and maybe the reason this thing is so short is frankly the frustration level of Confederate artillery is peaking out way high during this battle. You know, each one of these ammunition chests is supposed to hold for most guns about 50 rounds of ammunition. And you've got not just that limber towing the cannon, but the caisson and its limber with 3 more ammunition chests that are supposed to be in the field. Every gun is supposed to have 200 rounds of ammunition. Maybe a little less if it's a Napoleon. Which begs the question, what's going on with the Confederate artillery if they're going into what is obviously going to be a major battle and one of its batteries doesn't have but a quarter of the artillery ammunition it's supposed to have going into the fight? And then the other thing here, what McDuffie tells us, he says, you know, I got into line, I'm ready. He's down there supporting Rains' brigade, part of the initial attack of the Confederates on December 31st, 1862. And when those boys start going, they overrun the Yankee positions. They start moving off the roads through the fields that are all muddy from 3 or 4 days of rain, then into the woods. Is it any wonder then, when you're dragging this equipment around, that your report after that says, was not engaged? They just frankly couldn't keep up. And even batteries that could, as they ran into Mother Nature, either in the form of mud or trees or rocks, ravines, sinkholes, would find itself all through the course of the Battle of Stones River, spending more time fighting the elements and fighting their own internal problems than they were fighting the enemy.
This has been a History Break, brought to you by City TV and the Stones River National Battlefield.